What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology of the Titan action. Spawning on the right side of the map in the blue color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Shelty. On the left side of the map in the red color, playing as Set. His name is Joe. This is the second game in the best of 5, I believe it is, between these two players. Shelty taking that first game with some very impressive Poseidon play. Completely different map, though, being Marsh. We'll see if Joe can shake things up. This is definitely a Set. It's definitely one of Set's favorite maps. As you can see, he gets all of these boars in the middle. However, big story is going to be, does Shelty find the priest? And he does find the priest, but the hyena is here, and you have to kill the hyena before you kill the priest. And the idea is that the boar should come around about 1:15. Oh, that is a sneaky, cheeky like. That's what you want to do right there with the very, very cheeky whack away of that boar, forcing the priest to have to move to a different location. And he's going to do so. He's going to move up onto these crocodile over here, it looks like. Very smart play there by Shelty. Some might even call it a 200 IQ play. I'm terrible. All right, finding some pigs as well. Gonna keep scouting, gonna keep trying to find where the priest is. I feel like if you can hide this priest away in the corner over here, maybe grab these boar. Does he know about them though? That's the question. Joe has not used vision. He doesn't know about them, and he can get spotted if he's unlucky. We'll see what happens here. It does look like the scouts running around. I'm back over here checking out what's going on this side of the map, but it does look like Joe's probably going to get this boar up at some point. And once he gets the boar up, he can just leave the boar around the priest, and then the priest is completely fine. You can't really push him off that hunt there. So maybe it's going to get there in time. Looks like he is going straight through the priest here. So going to be able to spot the priest yet again. Start whacking away, and will it be okay? I can do the same trick on that boar as well and just come and whack the boar and run away. And then if he does, then it's great. Oh, he doesn't notice it though. He was not paying attention to his scout, and he just sent it over into this corner here. That's super unfortunate. And that's gonna cost him a little bit right there, because part of what makes Greek quite good against Set is this Catastropus, able to stop any middle of the map priest. You really don't need to scout out your opponent's base as Poseidon, at least a Set's base, because you're not going to be Ares rushing against Set. You want to go through Hermes to counter ancestors in general. So seeing a forward gold line is not going to really want to change anything, because you're not really going to be able to pestilence too much. So we'll see what happens there. Joe went for a super early second town center in the first game here. So we're going to be seeing maybe something similar. He does have 9 villages on food already, and the patented 0 villages on wood. So no pickaxe for a while here. Temple's going to get up right after this. Okay, he's going to build another villager. He could have got up to the classical age a little bit faster there, but wants the extra villager. And then he's going to take off all but 4 villages on food. Move that fair over, go up through Tar. And if we check out Shelty's perspective, he's just about to advance through home. He's going to get there around about 4:20. Blaze it. Grabbing that Theseus out to grab the Brigham Nibelgun. There's so many good relics on this map. Trios, bow, monkey head is okay. And oh my god, toothed arrows. This is just begging for some toxotes. Toxotes? Who knows? Someone knows, because someone will tell me that I can't say it correctly. Who knows? All right, so what is he spot? He spotted this one, and he spotted this one. He should just be cleaning these up straight away. Definitely what you want to be doing. And if we check out Joe, on the other hand, he's going to be gathering all of the extra gold from this gold mine. He can't actually afford to get these relics, but it does look like he's not going for them. At least Shelty not going for them. You get the Trios bow, which is extra range, which is invaluable against Set, and you get 5% extra pierce attack. How can you pass that up? However, we are going to be seeing some of these villages moving forward. What's he going to be going for with them? It looks like he's going for a forward town center, a vision on the base, and then it does look like the shifting stance is going to come straight onto these villages, and he's going to be able to pick off a couple here. Only 1 or 2 though, so it's not that big of a deal if you can keep these villages alive and not lose them. All of that resource that you lose from the from not gathering resources from your pharaoh is pretty significant. So losing those 2 villages there is in general a win for the Poseidon player here, simply because the resources lost is so huge. Like if you have, I think we worked this out in an earlier video, 3 times 5. So if you have 5 villagers on a resource, the pharaoh is equal to an extra villager on that resource. So 10 villagers on a resource is 12 villagers effectively gathering from that resource. I think that's about right. I could be wrong about the math. Somebody can correct me. But in general, it's a big deal. And we're also seeing that Shelty's not too concerned about this. And he's actually going to be able to come in here and pick off a couple of villages himself without having to use a god power there. So that's going to be huge. And that does leave Shelty in a fairly decent position. However, he does need to think about his own second town center here. Otherwise, he will be falling a little bit behind. He's going for all the stables though, so he's not going for an early second town center. The forward town center is up now for Shelty, and this is a big deal because it's very hard for Shelty to like. Did I just say the second town center is up for Shelty? Second town center is up for Joe. It's very bad for Shelty because this town center is very forward, so it does give him access to this gold mine here, and also these back gold mines are really easy to secure, or at least to gather from. This centaur are going to come in here and be a little bit of a pain. Can just actually chill here with potentially stand ground on, and this gold mine becomes nullified until he gets a pharaoh or a priest over there, and it does look like he's kind of done that, or he's going to be microing a little bit, so maybe he hasn't. Alt S is such an invaluable tool, and there we go. He has actually used the Alt S. You can see he's used Alt S by the... Actually, no, he hasn't. Okay, so he has shut down the gold mine. I was going to say, you can tell someone's used Alt S when the villager runs away from the range. The centaur will move like a very small amount and then change. But the priests are here now, and Shelty's all over that. Going to take one little love tap there and get out of there. Now we do see the stables are spamming Hippocon right now. So... can Joe hang on here? He's got a lot of boar in the bank here. He does still have all of these boar that he can gather from, and now he's finally getting up that barracks. And the barracks are going to be... Well, he does have another barracks back here, so that second barracks is up. And if we check out Joe's resources, he's got 16 villagers on food. So that's 8 villagers he needs on food for his constant villager production. And he has an extra 8 on food so he can pump out spearmen. However, spearmen's train time is crazy fast, 9 seconds. So that's like half of what a villager is. So you actually need something crazy to get constant spearman production happening here. I think it's maybe 20? No. Yes, maybe. Well, in terms of also on top of the town centers, maybe 20 villagers to just pump spearmen from 2 barracks constantly. But they build so fast that it doesn't really matter. So going to be great. Going to be great getting all those spearmen out in order to counter all of these Hippocon. So now the question is, what is Shelty going to do in response to the spearmen coming out? Because if he just lets this happen and all these spearmen come out, he can't actually fight this, especially with all these boars. Does he have access to feral? He doesn't have feral. Feral makes these boars quite a bit stronger, does give him extra HP, and considering he has so many and there's so many to pick up, it's never a bad idea to just grab some of those, some of that feral upgrade to make these boars just a little bit stronger. However, it's going to be difficult for Shelty now because all these spearmen are here, forcing him out of here, and now the second town center is going to be coming out. I'm interested to see if Joe's going to notice the score drop there. If you notice a score drop, it means one of 2 things. Well, basically it means your opponent's invested quite a bit of resources into something. And you get the score back once the something's up because it gets counteracted, but you can generally tell when someone's getting a second town center by their score dropping, and now we're seeing third town center of Joe dropping, and then Shelty comes back in, so Shelty should be able to assume that either Heroic Age or second town center is coming up, third town center is coming up, but he should assume that it can't be Heroic Age because of all the spearmen that have been pumped. So he should know that's a third town center for Joe. And Joe's going to be spamming villages like a madman, which is going to allow his economy to be very, very strong. And it's going to be very difficult for Shelty to keep up. Joe, unlike last game where his economy was a little bit messed up, wasn't able to pump villages constantly. But this game, Joe's economy is on point. You can see 25 villages on food. Has he got this pickaxe? He still hasn't got pickaxe. Super interesting. I guess he just can't afford the villagers and the spearmen, so he opts to not get pickaxe in order to do that, and then he's going to grab it a little bit later. Doesn't even get that that wood upgrade, not the wood upgrade, doesn't even get the lumber camp in here, otherwise that's going to be a long time before he gets 120 resources there. Spearmen going to be running over here, going to be spotting these villagers, but the villagers are finished. However, they're going to be onto them. They're probably going to pick off one or two of these here at the very least. There's a couple of low HPs here. And the spearmen are going to be picking these off as he's running away. Maybe even an extra. And the spearmen do run quite fast compared to the villagers, but the villagers can just duck right into that sentry tower here. And it does look like that's where they're headed. Actually picking up 3 villages there is going to be fairly good for Joe, considering Shelty is already behind on the villager count. If we check out Shelty's villager count, 11, 8, 16 versus Joe's 19, 1, 13 with some extras here, not doing anything. So that's very good for Joe, and also sitting at 112 population to 84 population of Shelty. I'm still like a little bit sad that he didn't notice these relics. And both players haven't noticed the relics because they're good for both players, especially now we're seeing the Toxotes coming out. Those are going to be brutal. And now we see the raids happening from the medium spearmen. And it's kind of like with the army composition that Shelty has, he actually can't deal with this. He does need to get out not sentry towers or watchtowers, and we are seeing Shelty trying to run in here and trying to do some damage. The gold mine here is being gathered from. I'm always confused about this from Joe. He always tries to mine from these crazy gold mines that are here. We are seeing that Joe's going to be sitting on that one. Sorry, Shelty's going to be sitting on that one now, and Joe's going to be sitting in the base of Shelty, but he's not going to be getting out that much. Now the Toxotes are out. They're going to start doing quite a bit of damage to those medium spearmen. And now we're back onto this gold mine yet again. So now let's check out Joe's economy. It does look like his gold is in a great position right now as he's running out of pigs. Does he have Shadoof just yet? Still no Shadoof. He's got quite a few villagers on the wood. No hand axe either. But it does look like he's just about to be going to the heroic age. He just needs to get out the next little bit of food. And once heroic age comes out, it's whichever god power or whichever route that Joe wants to go here. If he goes through Sekhmet, it's great because then he can just attack this town center with the scarabs, force a ceasefire, go straight to the mythic age, get tornado to the location after the ceasefire. But he's going through Nephthys. That's going to be fine there. And are we going to be seeing something similar from Shelty soon? No, Shelty's actually been unfortunate here and doesn't have that many pigs, so he's actually gonna have to move forward onto these boar, which it can be very, very difficult for him to gather from, considering the nature of the position of these boar. Because if he loses this army, or if Joe gets a good fight, it's really, really no food left for Shelty here. And also, Shelty's on he's got 15 villages on wood, which is a lot, but it's not going to help him out when he has to put all of that wood into farms straight away. You want to sort of gradually transition into the farms. We are seeing that this fight is happening. It feels like Shelty has to fight here. Villagers probably should just chill in the town center and get the bonus damage from the town center, but it does look like they're coming out here. Going to be trying to do a little bit of a fight in this location. There's the watchtower over here, and now we hit the heroic age here as mercenaries start pumping out. He's got access to mercenary cavalry as well, so those are going to easily be able to deal with these Toxotes. So this fight was fairly decent for Shelty, but it doesn't matter because he can't get anything off it. Even if he wins the fight slightly, which it does look like he slightly won the fight, he has hurt himself because he's not in the heroic age and Joe is. So now Shelty needs to produce so many more units in order to just survive here, whereas Joe doesn't matter. He can just chill. He can produce his units and he's already in the heroic age and start producing some Migdol units and go from there. We're actually seeing Joe grab some of that food from the giraffe. It's actually quite a bit. It's 150 food each giraffe, and that's free hunt right there. So that's fairly good for him. And if we check out Joe's economy yet again, he does have pickaxe. He's got hand axe now. Does need to get plow and Shadoof. There's really no reason why he hasn't researched it just yet. He's got 57 favor in the bank. It's 700 wood, but it does look like he's more concerned with going to the mythic age. Now we are going to be seeing Joe under a little bit more pressure here. Hippolyta in here should be targeting down that Scorpion Man. There we go. Going to be taking that Scorpion down a little bit. Does something. What's that damage? That's 74 damage a shot on that Scorpion Man. As the Scorpion Man is going to be trying to get away there. And we are going to be seeing Shelty trying to slow down this Mythos Stronghold. He really wants to force a defensive Ancestors here. He doesn't want to have to deal with an Ancestors on his base. And that's what he's going for. The villagers again getting pulled in here, trying to be used to pick off the units. Mythos Stronghold is just about to get up. Market is up. Where's the market? He's kind of put a close market, it looks like. Yeah, it's a close market here, and then this villager over here is for the far trade market. You can actually do some pretty crazy stuff here if you have got the micro, but you can use a market over here, and then you put a market here. And then if you spot your any caravans coming in, you can just grab them, click on the town center, then click on the market, and then click on the town center again. And then it's like they'll do this crazy thing where it effectively doubles your rate of income, but it's so much APM you need to be able to do it efficiently. But it's free, and if you catch any of them, it's like I just wanted a little bit extra gold here, so you just do it. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, feel free to be like, what the hell are you talking about, Boit? And I'll just be like, you just do the thing with the market, and you put it in the place, and the stuff happens. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes total sense, right? All right, we are seeing Shelty coming in right now as he's trying to basically hit Joe and slow him down. But Joe's going to the Mythic Age already before Shelty even clicks on his own Heroic Age. So Horus incoming right now. Joe's sitting at 142 population to Shelty's 126 population. Does have the 3 town centers. And this is kind of the big issue with Poseidon here. If he can't do the damage and he can't force Joe back, Joe can just get out of control on the economy here. And that's what's happened. And this is why the Mythic Age is so fast here for Joe. As this fight is happening, Joe's finally like, all right, my army and my economy is feeling good. So I can start moving forward, having these fights, keeping you in the Classical Age for as long as I possibly can. However, the army of Shelty is being very, very resilient as he's kind of winning over here. However, we do have the Avenger coming out right now, and Avengers will start flooding. However, it does seem like Shelty is short food at the moment. Only 13 villages on the food here, with 40 villages on gold, and he doesn't really have any gold units he can build. So he does need to transition some of these villages off here onto farms in order to build more of those site stuff, or he can just simply trade food at this point in the game. It's kind of worth it. If you check out the market trade rate, generally in the early stages of the game, like before like maybe the 25-minute mark, the trade value isn't that bad. You can actually get away with quite a bit of trading before it starts getting very undervalued. But we'll see if that's what's happening. It doesn't look like Joe's that concerned. He just wants his resources to just bubble here, taking these villages off the food yet again. He's got all these idle villages that can just build farms at this point. Still, he does have Shadoof. He does have plow. He has irrigation. And we are seeing Joe run forward at this point. Here's the tornado. Tornado onto this town center will kill it. We still have access to ceasefire, which he could use in order to keep it alive for a little bit longer here, but it does look like no ceasefire because he's concerned about ancestors. He knows he can't deal with it until he's at least in the Heroic Age with Hippolyta. But can cast ceasefire, get this town center back up, then sort of stabilize. Shelty's sitting at 122 of 130 population, so he does have the possibility of stabilizing, but he only has 10 villages on food, which is a huge issue. He's got 26 villages on the gold, but having no food income means he can't produce those. He can't produce those Hippocon. Now Joe's picking up Toothed Arrow, potentially going to come over here and pick off the Trios of Bow as well. But it does look like Joe just going to be moving in here. He's jumped super far ahead in the score here, 3,700 to 2,700. So it's looking very dire for Shelty here, and it is looking like Joe will push through and take this sound center for himself. And Shelty says, all right, I can't hold on to that. Sitting at 91 population, he decides to tap out. GG, well played there by Joe. I think Joe played this game so much better than the first one. Not sure if he was nervous or he just was like, his mind wasn't switched on or anything, but it kind of just looked like a completely different player playing the game here. Everything was really crisp. His villagers were pumping really, really well. Got his economic upgrades out when he needed to, and he just kind of it was kind of just like the accelerator was on the entire game, whereas Shelty's just could not hang on or could not just keep up with the pace. Potentially, I'm still thinking it might be worthwhile for Poseidon players to think about a different way to play this matchup. I don't feel like this late second town center against a super early second town center from Joe and the shifting sands is the way to go, simply because I don't think you can defend against the shifting sands and harass the town center, which is kind of what Shelty was trying to do. Now, if Shelty had had his Hippolyta up here to pick off these villages as well, it would have been a completely different story, but he needed it back in his base to defend against the raids that were happening with the shifting sands, and that means that it's kind of just hard to keep up because you're not going for your own fast second town center. So I'm thinking the idea could be to sneak your own second town center and make sure your villages are in a different location, nice and protected, close to a sentry tower. He shifts onto them, and you're building up that town center, or he shifts onto you and you cast ceasefire, get your own second town center up, and then at least you're keeping up with his economy, so he doesn't get to the heroic age and just win with a tornado, which is kind of just what's going to happen here. So sometimes, it's okay to trade those god powers, because if you're keeping up with him, in terms of economy, then you should be hitting the heroic age at the same time. And a bronzed up Poseidon army with heavy upgrades with Atlanta is enough to deal with a set ancestors and this kind of army here. So if you can keep up, it's gonna be okay. So I'm thinking maybe it's worthwhile to go for the ceasefire on the shifting sands, get your town center up instead of trying to defend and pump out these stables. That being said, I am just a lowly noob and my analysis is probably wrong, and everyone can say that in the comments and I'll be okay with it. If you enjoyed this game, please rate, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see my videos as soon as they come out. My name is Boit and I will see you guys next time.